Welcome to Brilliant Bankers. We are now through the chapter Documentary Letter of Credit. In the previous session, we have gone through the liabilities, responsibility, and rights of parties, in which we have understood that bank do not take any responsibility by the act of God, commotion, civil riots, flood, or any of the causes beyond which it comes under their control. Responsibilities are also not taken for the acts of the correspondent banks, whether the bank was chosen by the applicant or by the bank itself. So this is what we have gone through the liabilities, responsibilities, and rights of parties in the previous session itself. Now we will be continuing with the documents under letter of credit. Documents means that is only the document that the banks are dealing with and not the goods. So we are only going to deal with only the documents of the letter of credit and not the goods. So documents are the basic requirements of any trade, and they evidence the carrying and completing of any trade transaction, whether the transaction is local or international. In fact, documents have a more important place in the international trade, since the interest of buyer, seller, the buyer's country's requirements, and the seller's country's requirements need to be fulfilled. Similarly, the scrutiny of the documents presented under any LC is very crucial and is a sensitive issue, since the decision of payment or acceptance of liability for payment by the issuing bank or the confirming bank solely depends upon the presentation of the document under the letter of credit, conforming to the terms and conditions of the LC. The person scrutinizing the documents should have an extra vigilance and should be adequately knowledgeable and skilled for the same purpose. The document should be scrutinized from the point of relevant articles under the UCP. What is UCP? Uniform Custom Practices, that which is mentioned in UCP 600. We have already gone through that in the previous session of us. If anyone has missed it, please go through the previous videos. Articles under the UCP, the extended guidelines relating to home country regulations, as well as the terms and conditions mentioned in the LC. And then it can be decided whether documents appear on face to be consistent with the requirements of the LC. UCP and other laws of the land are to be also recognized. First of all, the most important document is the Bill of Exchange. Bill of Exchange, being the most important financial document, is drawn by the beneficiary on the LC, issuing bank. It draws upon the issuing bank to make payments immediately if it is drawn on the site or accept and pay on due date. If it is a site bill of exchange, it should be paid immediately, or if it is a usance, it is to be paid as per the date. It should be in normal due date or due course. Satisfy the following condition. It should in normal due course satisfy the following conditions. It should be drawn by the beneficiary on the issuing bank and payable at tenor mentioned in the LC or the letter of credit. It should indicate the issuing bank's name and letter of credit number along under which it is true. So both the bank's name and the number should be mentioned in the letter of credit. It should, unless and otherwise specified, be drawn in the currency of the letter of credit and should not exceed the amount of the letter of credit. It should be drawn in the currency of the same country in which the letter of credit is being issued, or the currency mentioned in the letter of credit. As if the letter of credit is being issued in India, and if the currency mentioned in the letter of credit is dollars, the letter of credit is to be issued in dollars. If it is mentioned Indian rupee, then it is to be mentioned in Indian rupee only. If there are any corrections, it should be duly authenticated by the drawer of the LC. The next document is the invoice. An invoice is a commercial document and is a basic necessity of trade documents. It is prepared by the beneficiary, giving details of goods, the quantity, and the value in its unit terms. weight, and the total value of the goods. Some of the most important or the specific points that should be kept in mind while preparing an invoice or examining the same are: it should be made out by the seller or the beneficiary or the exporter as stipulated in the letter of credit. It should, unless and otherwise specified in the letter of credit, be made out in the name of the applicant or the openers of the LC. Who is the applicant in this case? The person who is importing it. The description of the goods must correspond with the description of the goods given in the letter of credit. Invoice must indicate the order number, the contract number, the pro forma invoice number, and the number of the LC along with the issuing bank's name. The invoice value should not exceed the LC value in any case. And the terms of contract, such as the FOB, C&F, CIF, etc., all these are Incoterms, which will be going through in the next session or in the later stages of the same session. FOB is free on board. C&F is carrier and freight. CIF is the carrier, insurance, and freight. We'll be learning detailedly about all these Incoterms in the later session. So the terms of sales and contracts, such as the FOB, CIF, CAF, etc., should be indicated in the invoice. Other particulars like bills of lading number, shipping marks, import license number, the gross weight, the net weight, the shipping marks, packing details, etc., should also be mentioned in the invoice. So, what is an invoice? What did we understand about this? In simple words, we open by the seller in the name of the buyer. It should have all the details of the product that is corresponding to the LC. The invoice value should never exceed that which is mentioned in the letter of credit. And the particulars of exports, like the bill of lading number, the shipping marks, the import license number of the applicant, the gross and the net weight, etc., are to be mentioned in the invoice. The next one is the bill of lading. Bill of lading. So, what is a bill of lading? Bill of lading is a transport document evidencing movement of goods from a port of shipment to a port of destination. It is a receipt issued by the ship owner or its authorized agent stating that the goods indicated therein are shipped on a specific date and by a means of a specific vessel and deliverable to a person mentioned there. So, what is it? It's a document signed between the shipper and the carrier in the simple words, that with details of all type, quantity, and all the description of the goods that are being carried in it. It is always made in two sets of documents, and along with a number of non-negotiable copies as stipulated in the letter of credit. The original negotiable bill of lading, it should be the signature of the ship owner or its authorized agent. The description of the goods should correspond with the requirements in the letter of credit, that is as per the terms and conditions in the letter of credit and as mentioned in the invoice. The bill of lading should bear the letter of credit number along with the name of the issuing bank. It also must contain the payment of freight, which is to be clearly indicated in the bill of lading as per the requirement of the letter of credit. The letter of credit should call for the ship on board or the billing of lading, and accordingly the bill of lading should bear such clauses regarding the same. The date of shipment should be within the date stipulated in the letter of credit. The partial shipments or transshipment, if any, or if permitted in the letter of credit, should be clearly indicated in the bill of lading. The gross weight, net weight should be indicated in the invoice. And also, the bill of lading should not generally be a date prior to the date of the issuance of the letter of credit, unless specifically mentioned or provided in any certain conditions. All original bill of ladings must accompany the documents. The bill of lading should not also be claused unless submission of claused bill of ladings are specially permitted under the letter of credit which has been issued. So, to summarize bill of lading, what is it? It is a receipt of goods being loaded from one place to another place, that is being exported by a person and being imported by a person. So, what is it? It's a proof of all these things that has been loaded. Or it can also be said it's an evidence of the contract of carriage and a document to the title of the goods that are being sent. We will also have a look of the types of bill of lading that are being used in the process. The types of different type of bill of ladings are onboard bill of lading. What is an onboard bill of lading? It is an acknowledge that goods have been already loaded on the ship or boarded on the ship. What is a clean bill of lading? When goods taken from on board and the goods or the packages may be defective, the captain of the ship mentioned the same in this case that will not be superimposed by any captain. If the bill of lading is not superimposed, saying that there is any defectiveness in the goods that have been loaded on the ship, then it is called a clean bill of lading. What is a cross bill of lading? If there is something imposed, superimposed, it is just the opposite of clean bill of lading, saying that the goods are defective or there is some kind of damage, then it is called cross bill of lading. What is a long form bill of lading? Long form bill of lading. In this, all the terms and conditions of the carriage are given in a document which is almost 4 to 10 pages long. Long form bill of lading is a document in which all the terms and conditions of the carriage are updated. There is a short form bill of lading also. You're having it in the next point. Short form bill of lading, it is just the opposite. Again, here no clauses or points are mentioned, but a previous letter of credit form is being mentioned. In this case, short form is also that they refer some other document which has already been provided or which was used in the earlier letter of credit. What is a through bill of lading? It covers the entire voyage from one place to another. There is no guarantee of the carriers for the safe carriage of the goods. Just through bill of carriage. For example, there is importer from Bangalore. He wants to import something from Thailand. Let's suppose some mobile parts or something like that. So the item has been sent from Thailand via a ship or a vessel through sea. So it may be reaching to some harbor which is in the eastern coast of India. Let it be Visakhapatnam or Chennai. So how is this imported items being transported to Bangalore? It will be by train or by a road transport. So in this case, the total voyage is being covered, but no guarantee is given by the carriers for the safety of products. Coming to straight bill of lading, it's a non-negotiable bill of lading issued directly to the consignee, where the goods will be delivered to the consignee itself. In the case where a bill is raised in the name of a consignee to be delivered to him only, and this is a non-negotiable bill, this can't be transferred to anyone else. What is a chartered party bill of lading? Chartered party bill of lading is used by a chartered party who is hiring the ship. If in case there is a ship which is having which is traveling from Thailand to again the Chennai harbor, in this case the ship is half empty, and this a person B who also want to send this item from the same place. So in this case, any one person takes a whole ship on rent. If Mr. A is taking the ship on rent and asking his items and the items of person B to be transported from Thailand to Chennai port, then this is called a chartered party bill of lading. So these are the types of bill of lading. Next, we'll be going through the insurance policy certificates. Insurance certificates or the insurance policies. It is issued and signed by the insurance company or their agent. It should not be issued by any brokers. The date of issuance of the insurance must be on or before the date of the shipment, or it must be endorsed by some specific notification or notation that the cover is effective from the date of shipment. The currency of issuance of the insurance must be same as that of the currency of the letter of credit. If not specified, the insurance amount should be issued for 110% of the CIF or the CIP value of the goods. Why is it 110%? In some cases, whenever it is mentioned that the insurance is to be for the 150%, in that case, it is to be issued for 150%. And if not mentioned, if something is not specially mentioned, in that case only this is going to be 110%, and it should be done for 110% on any case. The policy should clearly indicate the voyage it is covering, that is, the port of shipment, the port of the destination, and should also mention the port of termination of the insurance coverage, whether the insurance is getting completed while aboarding or deporting, or in the third case, or after delivery, in which case the insurance coverage applies, till what condition the insurance coverage applies. Claim should be made payable in the country of the applicant. The policy must be blank endorsed. The description of the goods should be as it was in the letter of credit, and the insurance policy or certificate should be in conformity in the given letter of credit. Coming to the country of origin or the certificate of origin, this is the certificate of origin. This determines the country of origin of goods. It is to be signed and issued by an independent authority like the Chamber of Commerce. The certificate for the origin of goods, along with details indicating the value, invoice number, and the bill of lading number, etc., are to be mentioned. Details appearing in the certificate of origin must be consistent with that of all the other documents that have been issued, like that of the bill of exchange, the letter of credit, insurance policies, the invoice, the bill of lading, etc. What is the packing list, weight list, and the other documents? This is the last document, last set of documents that we are going to see in the heading documents of letter of credit. All documents should be as per the letter of credit. Other documents other than the bill of exchange, the invoice, the bill of lading, and the insurance policies. These four, which is the most important, that's what we have gone through in a detailed class. All other than that, these are the other documents that are available in the letter of credit. That is a packing list, the weight list, cytosanitary certificate for goods that are meant for human consumption, the shipping company certificate, and the beneficiary certificate. These are the few that has been mentioned, and all are to be made in terms of the letter of credit and should be consistent with each other. All such documents must be consistent with each other and in conformity with the conditions and terms of the letter of credit. So, so the next one is Incoterms. The Incoterm rules provide globally accepted definitions and rules of interpretation for common commercial terms. The reason being, parties to contract are often not aware of different trade practices in their respective countries, which can cause misunderstanding, resulting in a unnecessary dispute. As such, ICC published a set of international rules for the interpretation of trade, which is known as the Incoterm. The ICC publication on Incoterms have been updated several times, with latest version being Incoterms 2020, in which we can find 11 Incoterms which are currently in use. So the acronym of Incoterm is International Commercial Terms. They are a set of rules which are globally recognized and set of standards for delivery of goods by all modes of transport, let it be by air, sea, or the road or rail communication. They are the terms the buyers and sellers involved in international domestic trades use so that they don't have any mismatch or miscommunication in their trade dealings. They are recognized by the governments and the legal authorities across the world. Incoterm applies to contract of sales, but not contract of carriage. They deal only with the relationship between the buyer and the seller. This can be broadly divided into four categories, which is in the way of the delivery, the departure, the carriage being paid, and the carriage being unpaid of the goods. So let's start with the first one, the departure of the goods, which we can mention as the EXW, X works. So what is X works? This means the seller makes the goods available at a specified location, usually the seller's factory. The buyer is responsible for the onward transportation of the goods and bears the cost for the same. In this condition, the work of the seller is just to manufacture the goods and keep it ready at a specified location, which is normally his factory, from where the buyer takes the product and he goes for a delivery. He does all the expenses on transportation is on the buyer. Then come the carriage paid or the main carriage paid item, in which we can see four Incoterms. They are the CFR, CIF, CPT, and the CIP. So what is CFR? CFR is cost and freight paid. This is normally the seller delivers at a designated port, which is being asked by the buyer. The seller delivers the goods on a ship at a designated post and pays for the cost and freight to the bring the goods to the port. So the buyer demands the seller to deliver the products at a particular port, for which the expenses are borne by the seller itself. The next one is the CIF, carriage, insurance, and freight. It can be carriage, insurance, or freight, or cost, insurance, and freight. The other one, coming to this, the seller delivers the goods on the ship at the named port and pays for the cost, freight, and the insurance to transport the goods to the port. For example, the buyer he has demanded for the delivery of the product to the Tuticorin port in Tamil Nadu, and the product is being transported from Dubai. So it will be mentioned as CFR Tuticorin. In this condition, the product will be delivered at that place, or CIF at the place. In that condition, the carriage, the insurance, and the freight charges will be paid by the seller itself. What is CPT? Carriage paid to. The carriage paid to, the seller delivers the goods to a named port with all the carriage paid. CIP, carriage and insurance paid. In this condition, the carriage and the insurance is being paid, but the freight charges is borne by the buyer. The other heading, which is the main carriage unpaid. In this condition, the seller just delivers to a particular place from where the transportation is borne by the buyer. It is one is FCA, which is the free carrier. In this condition, the seller has the main duty of delivering the goods that are being purchased by the buyer to a ship which is mentioned by the buyer, and as and when his delivery is to the ship is completed, his duty is complete. FAS is the free alongside ship. When the seller delivers the goods alongside a ship, it's not even in the ship. When it is delivered alongside the ship, the delivery of the goods are completed. Now coming to the final one, the arrival. It has three headings. It is DAP, DPU, and DDP. DAP is delivered at place. When the buyer demands delivery of the goods or products at a designated place, then the seller has to deliver. In this condition, all carriage, freight, insurance, and all charges are of the seller. DPU is delivered at a place and unloaded. In this condition, all the items are to be delivered and unloaded. This is the only clause in which the seller has to pay till the last end so that his product is even unloaded at the place as demanded by the buyer. DDP is delivery duty paid. In this condition, all the items are delivered after the payment of duty in the importing country by the seller itself. Hope today's session was interesting. If you do have any queries, you may please post it on the comment section of this video. We are ready to answer your doubts. Do like, share, and subscribe our channel, The Brilliant Bangers. Jai Hind. Have a great day.